Hello everyone, I just want to have a review on the mistakes that WHO done during this pandemic and epidemic of the coronavirus all over the world. I strongly believe if they act better, we wouldn't face this much problem at this moment, and it could be much easier to control this pandemic. So before I start, I just want to mention that they themselves has admitted to error. As you can see here, WHO has admitted an error in the assessment of the Wuhan coronavirus risk. But the problem is it didn't end up there. That was one of the mistakes they made. Personally, I believe the world needs WHO. We need this organization for such a happening, such as this coronavirus outbreak. But we need a director who can act accordingly with minimum amount of mistake and much wiser. And the amount of mistake that Mr. Dr. Tedros has done is not forgivable. And I believe the best thing is that he immediately resign and somebody who can do the job replace him. So let's look at the mistakes that they made. On 14th of January, WHO, the World Health Organization, used the Chinese authorities' suggestion that this virus doesn't transfer human to human. Very simple. When you are in that position, you cannot use other people's comments. You must conduct your own research. If you look at this figure, after what he said, it was rising, the death toll. This is only for China, but it happened all over the world. So that's a really deadly mistake. You cannot just say an error and mistake. This is a big mistake. They didn't conduct their own research. Second disastrous mistake that they did was on 3rd February, which they said there's no need for the travel bans. It doesn't help the control of this virus. How on earth somebody in that position can come up with such an idea? He's a chief. Dr. Tedros is the chief of WHO. How can he come to the TV and say this to the world? What we're facing right now is partially because of his comment. So many deaths, so many lives have gone. If you look from the 4th of February, 3rd of February, the number all over the world, it started to be a pandemic based on his idea. Look, even YouTube, when you search something in YouTube related to the coronavirus, the first thing is WHO. They are main references. How can they come up with such a weak and terrible comments? These are lives that have been taken. Then another mistake, on 11 March, very late, they announced the pandemic. If you look at this graph, were they sleeping from 15 February to 11 March? Where was Dr. Tedros sleeping? Where was he? What was he doing? Was he aware of the situation? If he was not, I'm not against anybody, but if you cannot do the job, please go. We need somebody who can act accordingly, who can act correctly, fast, and can make right decisions. In this kind of situation, common sense which said when we are facing such things such as pandemic and unknown virus, you must take the high alert in every case. You should not take it lightly, which he did to the maximum. Even a blind man, if you describe this map to him, he will say this is a pandemic. And how can the Dr. Tedros could not see it? How can the people on top of the WHO could not see this? Only see it after 11 March. And then the statement that, oh, the new coronavirus is not airborne. And also they stated it only lasts outside the body 5 days, 3 days. They started from the 3 days. So do you know the consequences of this action? The consequences of this action was what happened to the cruise ship near the Japan. These people inside the cruise ship, Japanese authorities, based on WHO suggestion that it's not airborne and it's only human to human, basically, maybe. And so they just keep everybody inside this ship without bring them down to do them quarantine outside. So the number growth inside, because the air circulation inside the ship was bringing this virus to many people. Almost 1,000 from one person, it reached 1,000 people. And so many deaths. Who's responsible for this? An error? You cannot say this kind of thing as an error. Then CDC should do their job, should come and do the job for WHO, should come and do the search on the ship and the ship and find the virus alive, the trace of the virus alive inside the ship after 2 weeks. After 2 weeks. It was still there. So many countries still believe in what WHO say. It's 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. That's why the death rate going up. That's why the contamination rate is going up. And we cannot blame WHO. I don't know. You decide. And then clumsy statement without statistic. To me, WHO right now is just like a news. They read, oh, this happened. Okay, they come up with the idea. Like, oh, officials said unclear whether recovered person can have an immunity or cannot have an immunity. Recently, they say only 3% of the population got this virus so far. And then, oh, vitamin C doesn't work, or taking ibuprofen is okay, which French did the test and saw it has very deadly effect if you have a coronavirus and take ibuprofen, and so on. So WHO should get $4.4 billion per year for these clumsy mistakes. I don't know. Is this correct? Should it continue like this? Why they shouldn't even change the people that have made these mistakes? They must be changed. Then it become political. Why Taiwan has become a problem for WHO? Because of China. Because China don't accept Taiwan as a country. So the chief of WHO have a quite good relationship with Mr. Xi Jinping. So because of that, they don't even go to check what's happening in Taiwan. They don't, because Taiwan and South Korea are two of countries that are very successful in controlling this disease. They could use them as a model, but no, they don't do. They don't do such things. They totally ignore the fact that Taiwan exists. WHO, World Health Organization, ignoring the fact that Taiwan is existing and doing good job to control this virus. So these are the 7 mistakes that WHO did, as we talk about it. So what was the result of this? Italy, 24,000 deaths. The worldwide, more than 2.5 million people contaminated, and thousands are dead. And at the end, I just want to very humble ask Dr. Tedros, please come down from that chair. I know sitting on the chair is very nice. It's a good feeling to be a chief, but please come down and let somebody who's really capable of doing this job replace you. And saying we made an error, it's very cheap and very low level of saying I made a mistake. Be the man, admit you didn't do well, admit you made a mistake, and please calm down and let somebody who can do this job better replace you. Please do your own research, follow the CDC. CDC works is better than WHO at the moment, and please stay safe.